Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen, and as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omar, thank you so much for having me back. As always, love being here, love doing this thing, trading the movies back and forth, sharing things that one guy has seen, one guy hasn't, broadening that video horizon that we like to talk about. So I'm excited for this one because we've been on a little bit of a, I don't know, I don't want to say kid movie kick, but a little bit, yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Um,
Just kind of
so
steering that way.
I don't know what. Oh no, yeah,
Because
now
we
I
watched
know.
Ultraman Rising or
Right,
whatever.
right. Well, I was trying to think of why this one specifically, and it's because it's been on my list for a really long time. I asked you about it maybe in like April
Okay.
and was about ready to do it the following week and was like, no, wait a minute. Put it on the list, hold it till like late August, early September. That would be great. Football
Football
season will
season.
start. That'll be perfect. And then
Whatever we
obviously August and September have come and gone. And
Well, it's bowl season now,
yeah,
so it
yeah.
still
It's
works.
always it's always football, baby. Um,
Yeah,
so
USA.
so it so it still works. When we were thinking children's movie, I scanned my list and I was like, right. I got the little giants here.
Sorry, I laughed because you're like, it's always football season. I agreed with you. I said USA, baby. And then I looked at both of our hats, and you're wearing a baseball hat, and I'm wearing a basketball hat. I'm
And
like,
it's also for a team in Canada.
awesome. Anyway, yes, the movie we are watching this week is Little Giants.
Little Giants from 1994, rated PG. Misfits form their own opposing team to an elite Pee Wee football team, coached by the elite team's coach's brother. What a terribly written bio. Let me take that one more time. Misfits form their own opposing team to an elite Pee Wee football team, comma, coached by the elite team coach's brother.
Hmm.
Wow. It is directed by Dwayne Dunham, and it is written by James Ferguson, Robert Shawcross, Tommy Swerdlow, and it stars Rick Moranis, Ed O'Neill, and a bunch of children.
You're not wrong.
Omari, this was, boy, like when we talk childhood staples on this channel, this is S tier childhood staples for me. I can't imagine a movie we've talked about, even some of the karate films. This was all white clamshell VHS on the movie shelf, constantly getting put in. How have you not seen this movie?
Um, I just didn't. I don't even have a
I
thing.
just didn't.
I mixed Little Giants, Sandlot, all of those, films of that era. I have seen Sandlot, but I didn't see it until I was like in high school and or an adult. Um, but those movies that were around at that time, I don't know. I think my childhood movie path went down the Disney route for a bit, at least. Because your Aladdin's, your Lion Kings, and all of that, and then I'm just rewatching. I do a lot of rewatching. Part of what, like we mentioned on this show, why this show is kind of necessary for the two of us. We do a lot of rewatching, especially me. I do a lot of rewatching of the things I already like, and that's pretty much what happened then. Also, sports gene activated late in life. I didn't really get like I was always had a passing interest in sports, but I've always self-identified as a nerd, or not a nerd, but more of a geek. Nerds are like more book smart or whatever, I think. But you know, I like your weird shit like anime and whatnot. But I I wasn't until like high school that I got into football, like 2001
Uh-huh.
ish. Aside from playing Madden with the boys or Blitz, it was I didn't watch football until right around the Greatest Show on Turf era,
Yeah.
and then I didn't follow ESPN until after college. So I was a late bloomer. So this movie completely under the radar.
Right on, right on. I also was not into football at all at this point. It was just a movie for me. But also uh
I would have been if I watched it though.
I feel like 1994 already at this age, I am aware of who Rick Moranis is, as in
Honey, I
Dad
Shrunk the
in Honey, I
Kids.
Shrunk the Kids and Weird Guy in Ghostbusters. And I am also aware of Ed O'Neill, as in Married with Children, the show my mother watches that I don't really understand. Um,
That's all I
um,
really knew as a kid.
Yeah, and beyond that, I don't think this was a Disney property. Probably a Warner. It was a Warner Brothers because I'm almost positive it had a Warner Brothers short in front of it
Hmm.
on on the VHS. So let's get into it. What were you expecting?
Well, I had heard it was a football movie,
Right, I don't
so
remember what you thought initially
baseball.
before I revealed. Okay,
Thought it was a little league baseball thing. I just lumped it in there with Rookie of the Year, Angels in the Outfield,
yeah, there was a lot of
Sandlot.
those.
So I thought it was a baseball movie. But you told me it was football. So I thought I don't know if I expected it to. I think I expected it to be good or at least decent because I had heard the name at least, even though I never watched a single scene and didn't know it was from football. But it's always lumped in with those other things. So I was expecting to enjoy myself watching some football. I was hoping I'd get to see a lot of the game itself, which we do get to at some point in the movie. But yeah, so I didn't know if it was following a season, if it was, I thought it was going to be following a season. Oh,
Okay.
let's play a whole season. We're gonna bad news bears this shit. We're gonna suck at the beginning, get good, or find that niche halfway through the season where things start clicking, and underdog our way to a championship.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I expected. Just a bad news bears esque moving on up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So as we get go,
I like the intro credits, very creative. I forget exactly what they were, but they were slightly different. They like had like little I'm not sure if it's animations or the names were animated as they came up, but
mm-hmm.
it wasn't your standard thing. It was more of a, I guess, early 90s
Right.
intro.
No, yeah.
Uh
Mm-hmm.
we see the kids and I immediately go, so this is Ed and Rick as kids. I'm not even thinking these are kids in the modern day. I'm like, this is Ed and Rick as kids.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the obvious kid
And
that's
they're good. They're good. Yeah, like you immediately get the vibes of both of them coming up. And then I know I don't know who Ed O'Neill's kid is, but then Rick Moranis's kid is same actor who was Squints in The Sandlot. Uh great child actor in those two movies. But yeah, this is like the flashback to set up, you know,
yeah, the
one
plot of the
brother's
movie.
great, awesome at everything, athletic and charming and popular.
Yeah.
Other guy's a nerd.
Yeah, and you mentioned the kids being very good, very well cast. Because I even put, yeah, this kid has some Rick Moranis ass energy with the way that he's doing things. Um, but yeah, the movie gets in there, and yeah, we get. Oh, sorry. Ooh. As we're getting into the movie, we meet Ed. His character's kind of. I thought he was weird. He's clearly an asshole, even as a kid. He's clearly an asshole, but he has his moments, and I guess it's throughout the film, where it does feel like he genuinely cares about his family. He's just an asshole on top of it.
Yeah,
He's not
he's
one of those assholes that's just like, you're lucky you're related to
yeah,
me. Ah,
he's been prom king his entire life.
yeah,
And that does something to somebody. It has to in some ways. I mean, and clearly he only is talked about as a college football um star. So clearly something
yeah.
unspoken has happened to where maybe he got to the NFL and he was just an average guy. But then you move
Mhm.
back to your small podunk town and you're
And
king.
you're a hero.
Yeah. Uh
Who else has gone to the fucking
yeah. Who else has played for the Dallas Cowboys or
yeah,
something
or
like that,
got
you
the
know?
Heisman or something like that, and everything else.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean he won the Heisman Trophy, so obviously he would have gone to the NFL unless he had like a career injury, which they also don't go into. So
Yeah,
that's always very interesting when I watch it. Like I'm wondering if for some reason somehow they couldn't get the NFL's participation because even spoilers later on when we have actual NFL players and John Madden, I can only think of him saying we have to get to Canton or
yeah,
we have to go to a ceremony in Canton.
yeah.
Um
They don't
uh
mention the words NFL,
oh yeah,
but they
yeah.
have the Cowboys logo and the Giants logo and the names
That's
associated.
true. So yeah, that part of it is weird. That is a plot hole of the movie that I'm only finding now as we're talking through it. But I've always thought about the fact that they don't talk about Ed O'Neill's NFL career. And I'm wondering if it's literally just a silent character moment for the writer, one of the writers of the film, put that in there to just be like, well, no, because he doesn't talk about it because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
boring. He played for
yeah.
3 years, had like 12 receptions for a total of 112 yards or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. He kind of
And
flamed out, so we don't discuss that. We discuss the good things. And the
right.
good things is he won a Heisman Trophy and was the best player ever out of this city. And now
And
he's a
yeah,
used car
it's only
salesman.
only further character development to boost up to make this guy like walk around like I'm the king uh because I own a very small used car dealership in a weird kind of set, like it's like building vacant lot where he has his car dealership, building. um so yeah, that's a weird setup. It doesn't make the car dealership look very glamorous.
No. And he's got,
Like,
and his house is nice. He's got money because he's a used car salesman. But the
yeah, it's a
dealership
fine
itself,
house.
yeah, it's not like a mansion, but he's
Well,
got
yeah, that's what
money.
I'm saying. It's just like it's an okay house. And like Rick Moranis and his daughter's house doesn't look much different. Like, think about the entryway where they have that argument
I guess that's fair.
right before the football game. Like, it looks like a pretty nice house.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah, it's just there's a lot of unsaid things for maybe my adult brain to now be like, what are these adults doing?
Yeah,
I was
where are all the parents at?
so focused on the children when I was a kid. I mean, like if you watch this, obviously you're a 30 something year old man. But like if you watch this as a 10 to 12-year-old boy and you did not have a crush on Becky Icebox O'Shea, I don't know I don't know what you were doing. Like no matter your preferences, no matter your
No,
gender, forget if you were a boy. If you were a human being breathing human air, Becky Icebox O'Shea is a perfect character. So uh um
I did like the character a lot.
right.
Um,
So we get into like we do the flashback, then we get into the tryout. We go immediately into the tryout. Ed O'Neill's famous. He's a college Heisman Trophy superstar. His name is painted on the water tower. Um, and he's having pee wee football tryouts. There's a bunch of boys, and then this one girl who seems to be defending all the nerds who are getting picked on and bullied. And then Rick Moranis shows up. Reveal he is
Yeah.
the father of the daughter, and thus she is the niece to Ed O'Neill, who's holding the tryouts.
This is another one of those movies because I guess I just hadn't seen enough Rick Moranis. I feel like we've watched something else with Rick Moranis in it because I feel like I've explained in the past that I just always kind of seen him perpetually as that Honey I Shrunk the Kids, Seymour Krelboyne type. That's just
Uh-huh.
always just the timid nerd dude and never just like a normal dude that happens to look like a nerd and have big ass glasses on his face. Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where like you change the glasses, he kind of doesn't look as nerdy. You know what I mean? Or and
Right.
you don't feel him as much of a nerd with the way he acts. He's still not as cool as his big bro, but it's more just I'm a
No,
normal
yeah,
dude.
I think he's just trying to kind of be an average guy.
Yeah,
He might be smarter than his brother. But yeah, like I mean, even at one point, um, uh, 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 his brother Ed O'Neill is telling him like, go take the kids on those nature hikes and those outdoor trips that you like to do. And he talked about with Becky about how they can go build a campsite and catch their
yeah,
own food and stuff. So he has man,
yeah.
stereotypical manly traits and maybe there's some manly things that he can do better than his brother.
Mm.
Not the standard Rick Moranis, just like complete
Yeah.
social inept nerd kind of guy.
Yeah. So I always like seeing him in that light because it's just good to see range of various actors.
Absolutely.
Um, so and I like both of what him and Ed and O'Neill are doing in this movie. But yeah, we get the team. He rejects all the main characters, because we got to, including Icebox,
Right.
because she's a girl.
She's a girl. She's a girl. Danny, she's a girl.
She's better than all the other boys, but she's a girl. Which, again, kind of jumping ahead, I do like later on when someone's like, "Why is that cheerleader?" He's like, "Hey, that's my niece. She's better than every boy out here." Like, okay, he still put some respect on the family name, even in the heat of this heated, as heated as this has gotten. He's like, "Hey, you shut your damn mouth about my niece." So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's clearly an asshole, but
Right.
he's their asshole. Um, but when the daughter wants to play football, kind of lies about her dad starting a team.
Yep, we got the rejects that are our first core is we got Becky, we've got Hot Hands, who can't catch a ball to save his life,
Come
although I
on,
think they're
fellas,
depicting that
what
he's
are we
pretty
doing?
fast.
Yeah,
Um, we've got his name's Hanan. We got the
something
big
like
kid
that.
because it's
Mm-mm.
early
No,
90s.
you
You
gotta
always
have
got
the
to have a
fat kid.
you always got to have a
He,
big boy
he he's
that's
either always
always
eating or
trying
he's
to sneak
always
some
farting
food or
or farting.
yeah, or like if you need him to stop something or run to something, you always have him picture the thing as food. Um, just because that's the only thing that drives the big boy. Um, and then you got like just kind of I don't know, like the Uber dork,
Yeah,
the like blonde haired kid with the swept hair, who's just like very skinny and scrawny and kind of awkward with his
clearly
body
wasn't
and
gonna get on the field for no reason, so he
yeah.
just gets recruited as a
Like nothing
as an
specifically
assistant
wrong
coach.
with him, like
Yeah,
Hanan's inability to catch a ball or Big Boy's weight and inability to breathe. But yeah, he's just kind of awkward and floppy and gangly, and yeah, they start going on a recruitment tour,
and I do love
gathering up our
how
kids.
in every like underdog like fucking football team movie, I feel like they always do that where there's the one wide receiver who really wants to be a wide receiver and is really fast but can't catch for shit. And they do the stickum gag in those movies as well. It happens in Replacement almost beat for beat. Fucking Orlando Jones's character is very fast, but he can't catch worth shit. And- but we need him on the team. If you can get the ball in his hands, you got him. But and then they also have a thing where he's like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna stick my hands in some glue and get him really ready. I'm gonna catch this play. Ready, break."
I remember that. Yeah.
It happens in this
It's
movie
like beat for
beat for
beat.
beat.
I think this one would have been first, right?
I feel before that replacements at the very least,
Yeah.
because I feel like the Keanu replacements was a remake, or I
Oh,
think someone
okay.
told me it was. But still, it's a staple and it works every time. It's always the classic. It's like, oh, here it goes. I'm like, okay, don't clap your hand. Damn it. I know that's fast forwarding, but we jump around sometimes anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually we
No,
built
fair.
the teams together. I like the little recruitment montage of him going
Hmm.
around the scene, asking people that they can play.
They see the kid kick one kickball, and they're like, "You're on our team as the kicker." Done. Um, you have the scene with Rick Moranis talking to the cowboy kid.
Yeah, you want to
Another
play
90s
football?
trope.
The
Even 80s
cowboy
and
kid,
80s and 90s kids movie trope is there's always a cowboy kid. There's
the
always a
kid that's
kid
just
who got,
obsessed with cowboys.
yeah, which I don't know if I encountered that. Like I in
Outside of
my
media, I don't think so
in
either.
my 20s I ran I started going to a coffee shop and an open mic night place a lot, and there was a guy that I befriended that kind of lived his life dressed as a cowboy a little bit, and tried to, and used old slang
The
sometimes
cowboy
when he
kid grew
could.
up. He's the
But
cowboy
that might
man.
have been the first time in my life. But yeah, so many of these movies always have a cowboy kid. But he's like, "Do you want to play football? Do you like football? Do you know
No,
what football is? Great, you can be on our team." It's like,
that was always fun. But yeah, clearly they aren't good. Now, what I was wondering, because they were putting everything in there, and I remember, oh, I had a note. I was like, I hate the gross kid because there's a kid whose whole gimmick is he was gross.
oh man, I love that kid.
Well, I just don't like gross stuff sometimes. But then I said maybe because they kept overusing the fat kid gag. But I think everybody grew on me. But when they something that the gross kid did early on made me type
The
that.
the snot bubble. I mean, that's
Probably.
really the only thing he does gross.
Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah, he has
Maybe
the
that's
snot
what I
bubble.
typed that.
His character is that he's like a hypochond. His mother is like Munchausen syndrome, and then
Oh yeah. No,
he's also
he
like
grows on me by the end. That's
he's
right.
got a lot of
That's
medical
who gross kid
deficits.
is. I was trying to remember who gross kid even
I mean, yeah,
was.
he opens up with that with the snot bubble and
Yeah,
and
no,
a shot with
that was
snot like all
definitely
down his.
an instant type like, oh, I'm not gonna like this character. I hate this kid. But he grew on me by the end.
Yeah,
Everybody does.
that standout moment. I can't see with this thing on.
I like the helmet catch too. The
Yeah.
And I have a buddy who remembers the helmet catch from the NFL, and I'm pretty sure his mind has combined the two helmet catches because he swears the NFL helmet catch was football stuck in the dude's mask. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. He caught it and pinned it to the side of his helmet.
Oh, we're talking about the Giants Patriots game?
Yeah, the
Yeah, that's
actual
on
helmet
that's on
catch.
top of the helmet.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
his memory has it getting stuck right in the face mask, which I'm like, I think you just combined the little Giants
Yeah.
and the New York Giants.
No, they're
But
both Giants.
both Giants, yeah. But so I was like, Icebox is clearly a linebacker. Who's the quarterback gonna be? And then immediately after I type it, just the dude in the mall, just
Chucking
oh,
toilet
there he
papers.
is. There he is, right there. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then of course, Icebox gets a crush, and so we got to deal with.
Yeah, we get our conflict for who's basically our main character, Icebox, which is, yeah, she's always a tomboy of a
Mm.
girl, and never been into boys. And then I tell you what, when Devin Sawa walks in front of you, again, I don't care who you are, he's Devin Sawa. I mean, he was a gorgeous man. gorgeous little boy, on all the teen beats
Fair.
and whatnots when we were younger.
He had a
Um,
familiar face. I just didn't know the dude's name. But
Devin Sawa, man, come
Devin
on, Devin
Sawa.
Sawa.
All right. But yeah. And I was like, so when does Ed recruit a QB? So my thought, because I like to predict things, Ed's gonna take this QB off the team because when they're spying on him, and he's like, the problem is he's playing for the wrong team. By the way, I like the gag of calling the cops on him spying and
Yeah,
all of that.
that's great. That's a
I'm
great
like, so
one.
Ed's gonna recruit the QB, and then Icebox starts changing herself for the dude, and I'm like, oh no, not this route with it. She's changing herself for the relationship. He's not even gonna like that. Because that's usually how that works in the movies or whatever, but it's still
Right.
just having to watch the storyline play out. You know it's gonna be fine in the end, but you're like, oh, you're the cool character. I don't want to see you throw that away just for some dude, especially
Right.
a dude that I thought was just gonna go join the other team anyway. Uh, Eventually we get Spike showing up, and that's such a 90s fucking name and such a 90s fucking character. He looks like the fucking kid from Toy Story, Sid.
Yeah.
Uh, he
Well,
he
then he grew up to be a villain in like all of the like Disney movies, like the Disney
yeah,
TV movies.
that guy has been the same character in a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's great at the part. It looks like the part. And hey, make your money. But yeah, that dude was quintessential 90 villain, and the third person self references as well. Um, Spike thinks this. Spike thinks this. Spike will crush you.
Well,
This
somehow he was
annoys.
supposed to be like 10.
Yeah, he's a 10-year-old that's built like that. They're like, it's the strongest 10-year-old I've ever seen in my life. We gotta have him on the team.
Ridiculous.
But wow. I don't know what made me type that. But yeah, one of the standout moments for me was when they were trying to practice tackling the one target to deal with on the team, being Icebox. And Ed tries to show an example of how, and he tackles out of the fucking window. Um, but yeah, we built the team over the time. We built the romance between quarterback and Icebox. She even asked him if he would even like make out with a girl like her or whatever with that beach scene.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know, you're cool. You're the icebox. I don't. That's just weird. You know what I mean? I think you're cool. And I'm like, she's totally gonna miss that cool part. I'm like, he likes your iceboxness. He likes you because you are the icebox. Don't
Right.
change for him.
But he
And,
also said he
oh,
doesn't really look at her that way.
that's what I got mad because I had a note under that I forgot why I typed it, but now I remember because she comes home with the thing and then she turns the story around on the dad. You just want to beat your brother. You never cared about this, and he's like, I put this whole football team together because you did this, and that's where I typed. This is why I don't want kids. I was like, why did I type that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, he does become a little self-obsessed about
yeah,
it.
but it was her idea.
But yes, absolutely. She is being deflective and defensive at that moment. For sure. Um,
I love the montage where the team's still trying. I almost fell for the pull up gag where the kids like doing the pull ups. I'm like, oh, the kids do a pull. Wait a minute, no, he's not. And sure enough,
right. Well,
pants down.
I mean, before that, we get the bus pulls up
Oh yeah, the
to
John Madden.
to our reject kids, to our little giants, and yeah, it's John Madden, Emmett Smith, uh, who else? Who else? Two
Those
other
are the
big
two names
guys,
I remember.
right?
Madden
Two
and
other big
Smith,
guys. But
big '90s football
so
stars.
they proceed to then coach them about football without actually talking about football at all.
Let
I
me.
guess Madden and the kid coach They do talk actual football a little bit.
Yeah, because
Uh,
he's like, "What's your play?" I call it the annexation of Puerto Rico. I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, well, let me see. You never thought about doing this? You can go from here to here. I'm like, yeah, John Madden. The classic.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Which is ridiculous. Oh, that whole sequence is completely
you
and
know what
utterly
this is?
ridiculous.
Intimidation. Intimidation. But yeah, no, the dude wasn't wrong. Just picking up a ball and just no, dude, it ain't even that serious. We're just out here. You want some money, I want some money. We we don't gotta do this. But yeah. So
But
who's
yeah,
the
the night before sequence, I do like that a lot of the kids slowly like putting on, because I feel like that's
yeah.
absolutely a kid thing. Like I can see myself doing that of just like here and here
What
and then maybe here. Oh, well, what if I had a mustache? And then it just keeps going, and then
yeah. I thought they were gonna go a different route and have him put on some like because I think he was Asian.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna do like some like sumo or Honda like style face paint kabuki stuff. I'm like, oh, they're going that route with it, but then he goes like, oh, it's just a football thing. And then next thing I know, he's just putting it everywhere. And I'm like, okay. I like that too. I like it in general. But yeah, the whole montage was fun. But yeah, the pull-up gag. I'm like, okay, little man, do your what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No. I'm like, okay, they're taking the football players' advice. They got motivated. But that brings us to the game. Before the game, we get the whole bet. My car dealership versus your business you apparently own.
Right.
Uh and I'm like, so Danny's gonna win.
Well, that's the place that they've been working out this whole movie, Omar. That's a gas station.
Yeah, the gas station.
It's been that pile of dirt that we've been at the entire movie is the
It's
gas
his
station.
business. Man. Yeah. Well, but once they made that bet, I'm like, so Danny's gonna win. This isn't gonna be some like, oh, we lost, but hey, we did it. And what's her name decides to fully convert after having her conversation with the quarterback. Icebox just becomes Becky the cheerleader, just
Yep.
in time for the game. Completely taking the morale from a fucking 1,000 to where they're threatening through the vents the highly superior team.
They were overconfident,
They had
even with
so much
the thought that they
unfound
would have
confidence.
Becky.
And the second Becky showed up in that cheerleader outfit, zero. Just all the way down. Just like, oh, we're gonna die out there. There's no ice box. So that was whatever. We get the game started. We get the one more classic gag of teams are running out. The fucking banner.
Right. Can't break the banner.
Can't break the banner. But yeah, kickoff, the game goes, and first half, terrible. People just not having a good time, which you expect these kind of movies. Luckily, the score was closer than I thought it was. It was only like 21 nothing or something like that at halftime, as opposed to like 45 nothing on some Monstar shit.
Right.
Uh,
Great halftime speech there
I do
of
like the
the
halftime speech that
the
it's
one time.
possible, the one time out of 100.
Uh-huh.
That's all you need is that one play. So just think about doing what's going to work that one time because that's all we really need any of us to do. It is possible for us to win this. And the second half, we get the stick'em clap apparently because that's where I had the note about that.
Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. The one-time motivation tactic was after the stick'em clap. It is possible, I think, happened after they scored one. I think it was like 21-7. They actually scored a touchdown in the first half. And they're like, Oh shit, it's possible to score on these guys.
Oh no, they didn't gain a yard until after halftime.
What the hell is that? It's possible. I don't remember any. I have a
It's
note
possible
here,
is probably your halftime speech.
but I have one time motivation tactic, two
Uh,
notes later. So whatever.
mm.
I watched this a couple days ago. Um, that said, Johnny, that kid. I had a note early in the movie when we saw
Johnny,
him because he asked the kid like where his parents is. I'm like
Mr.
Johnny has yeah.
Johnny,
I'm like Johnny
I'm
has no dad.
Johnny.
Yeah. I'm like so Johnny has no dad. And then later when he's like Mr. Johnny, like you said, and then the dad shows up. Very emotional moment of him running to his
Right? Like,
dad.
listen,
No, I had a big smile on my face for
I,
it.
yeah, I don't have a kid.
Neither do I.
I
I
barely
just
give a
told you I
fuck
wrote a
about
note
my
about not
dad.
wanting them.
Somehow, every time I watch that, I know exactly what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen before it happens. And every time it happens, I'm like, why the fuck am I about ready to cry?
Because the older you get, the easier that becomes. That's what
Yeah.
I've noticed. um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but everybody gets their own special play to like score a touchdown
they
or
also had the
make a
intimidation
meaningful
stuff
moment. Yeah.
with the seltzer water tablets, which again, if the entire team I'm going up against starts foaming at the mouth, ready to attack me, I am going to be intimidated. There's
Yeah,
no way I'm not.
for sure. You get Hot Hands Hanen finally catching a ball by visualizing that it's a roll of toilet paper.
Yeah, because he could
Because we
catch those,
established earlier in the movie that he can catch rolls of toilet paper.
which is probably why he thought he had good hands. But
By the way,
he,
yeah, him and his father practicing in the backyard. His father has invested like $300 into footballs. He has like a crate of footballs sitting next to him. Like there's so many like brand new, shiny, fresh and clean footballs in that backyard when they're playing catch. Or I don't know if it's playing catch
if you're
one person
practicing for
if one person isn't catching it.
yeah,
It's
that's fair.
target practice.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and then we right around a lot of this stuff in this movie happened right around when I'm like, where is this gonna happen? I'm like, well, the movie can't end yet. We still need the annexation of Puerto Rico. He had a whole conversation with John Madden about it. And then it comes down. Oh, also Icebox comes out during the second half. I mentioned
Right,
that
because we
earlier.
have the true villain of the movie, Spike's dad. Um, because even Spike has redemption by the end of the film. But I mean, what does he know? He's a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
just doing what he's taught by his father, who tells Spike that he needs to remove Junior from the game, no matter what. And so yeah, Spike performs a hard late hit on Junior, knocks him out of the game, and Ed O'Neill has has the great line of "That's no cheerleader, that's my niece, and she's pissed."
Like, no, that's a serious problem. Also, I did like him, like, your son does that again. He gets off this team and everything else. Like him showing that
Right, like
he
you
has
said,
no dirty intention.
they always give him these moments to be like, see, he's not a bad guy. He's just a kind of stuck in his ways guy.
Yeah. Because even when he was telling him, like, look, you could be all kinds of things. You don't have to be fucking football. You're not the football guy. I'm the football guy, and you could be literally
I mean,
anything
yeah,
else.
from looking at it from a different perspective, it's like, yeah, this is my one thing. I am the football guy. Like, and you're going to try and take being the football guy away from me? Like, that's my one thing. We have a football team. Why wouldn't I coach it? But you didn't let his daughter play football. So,
Exactly. I did think it was funny that she had the skirt on with the jersey.
yeah, that's like that's her character arc. is like is
She learned to
finding
be both.
finding that in between. Yeah,
That
exactly.
balance. Fair. But yeah, we get the annexation of Puerto Rico. It's a fun play in and of itself. And it works. Then we get the team wins, and surprisingly, like you said, Spike's a good sport. He walks over, he's just like, "Yeah, we were hell of a game." What? Oh, okay, shit. I expected something completely different or
He's like telling his teammates to clap, telling
yeah,
his dad to get a grip.
yeah. Uh, and yeah, and we get the whole happy ending. Everybody, the little giants beat the Cowboys. They even had the brothers joke about the bet and everything afterwards, where he's like, "Hey, about that bet, we don't really have to actually follow through it, right?" Oh, of course, there's always going to be a job for you, and
Danny
my
O'Shea Chevrolet.
Danny O'Shea's Chevrolet and stuff.
Compromise being that they will finally do what he promised when they were little kids, and the water tower is now going to say home of the O'Shea brothers, which from the town's perspective has to be like, what the fuck? What did Danny do?
See, part of me wants to say that, but they also did just see Danny beat him in a football game.
Right.
And also, the old dudes, they wanted this thing to happen to from the get-go.
They
Like
wanted it to happen so bad.
they were instigating this Danny. Like they seem like they've been invested in Danny versus Kevin their whole life. There it is, Kevin. That's why I'm like, so maybe they are with how small the town is. Maybe, it is all right. He ain't the football star that everyone in the rest of the nation would know, but he's a local, big name. So yeah, we'll be the town of the O'Shea brothers. It's not that hard to convince us after seeing this. But
Right.
yeah,
It's true. All right, my man. I think that does it for Little Giants. What'd you think about it?
I enjoyed it. You're right. I can see why you watch this a lot throughout your life and everything. It's a good watch. Even
I
the
mean, it's a
things
kid's
that
movie. It
it's a
is
kids movie.
fully a children's movie.
Yeah. I will say that it is a kids movie, but eh, that doesn't bother me too much. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not kids. It's not kiddie enough to where it's annoying. To where it's like, oh, I need to have kids to watch this kid movie, otherwise turn this shit off. It's not one of those. I like I said, I enjoyed it. I liked the football. I liked the fact that we did get a football game at the end, and still had the hard hits. We still had a lot of the classic gags. It was like most of the nostalgic stuff we watch or time products of their time. It's always good for a good. Really? He said not and gave him a wedgie. My God. How 90s is this movie? Hershey's chocolate syrup and milk, and you stir it to make chocolate milk? When's the last time you seen somebody do that?
Yeah, long
Like,
time.
yeah. So that's always good. And yeah, no, I enjoyed it a lot. The acting I thought was well enough. The kids are kids, but even still did good jobs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, like I mentioned, Rick Moranis, and I'll give Ed O'Neill his props too. I I totally get the charismatic local dude that everybody likes and just the coolest motherfucker in the neighborhood. And he carries himself like that just to the way he talks to people, bounces off and things. Let me tell you, let me do this, that, boop. Like,
I knew you'd
perfect.
see it my way.
Yeah, I knew you'd see it my way.
Like, what an asshole thing to
I knew
be
you'd
a
see it my way.
catchphrase of yours.
I knew you'd see it my way.
Yeah, it's just like such an assholey thing because it's not like it's not directly ass. It's just like it's so it's so egotistical. It
He
is.
he definitely gets his way too often for him to make that a catchphrase of "I knew you'd see it my way," because
Yeah.
everybody sees it his way eventually. My way, O'Shea. That
Uh,
said,
what are we doing next week, bud?
there we go. That said, what we're doing next week, we're gonna keep it in the kids' range because it's December, and though it's holiday season, there's a movie coming out soon involving a video game. Speaking of '90s and things that kids were into in the '90s, we
You got
got a
me all
sequel
over the
coming
map
out.
here.
We got a
Holiday
sequel coming
season,
out. Well, the
video
holiday season
games.
is just it's December. Don't worry about the holiday.
Oh,
Video
okay.
games, 90s. Video games, 90s. The holiday season is because the movie comes out
Oh, okay.
soon. Video game,
Ah,
90s, kids film. Sonic 3 is out in the film. So I figure we already watched the first one. Why not, in preparation for the third one, go ahead and watch Sonic 2?
go
That's what
ahead.
we're watching. Yeah.
All
Sonic
right,
2. So
Sonic
that's
2.
what we'll be watching this week. If you want to see our Sonic 1 review, as well as other various 90s films, and other films from all around history. Check it out on the channel. We also on Mondays have a show called Mocked Draft, where we draft some things back and forth, various random things, make teams, as well as a through line of a fantasy wrestling thing. Has a recent episode that just popped up to continue that going on. On Wednesdays, there's whatever we want podcast with me and the friend behind the friend of the show, Super Jazz. We took
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended, we talk about just that. And on Saturdays, Bill and I have a show called You Don't Watch Sports. It's two guys with three topics. Help you sprinkle a little information into your sports conversation. Helps be your guiding light through the sea that is casual sports talk. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks out there?
No.
All right. Well, there you have it, Little Giants. Next up, Big Sonic. Know what I'm saying? Adiosness.